What's up, guys? It's Meaty Mike. My name's Mike and I love meat. Fire up your smokers because today we're smoking some St. Louis honey barbecue ribs. Let's do it. Well, my oh my, look what we have here. Two beautiful racks of St. Louis cut ribs. Ribs, man, they bring back some memories. The first video on my channel was a video with 321 baby back ribs. And those ribs were on the Masterbuilt smoker. You put them in, then you wrap them, then you unwrap them. These are going on the Po Man grill, and they're gonna be no wrap ribs. So a little bit of a different method. We have some stuff here for prep, so let's get started. So with St. Louis ribs, you can see there's a lot of fat on the meat side of the ribs, and you flip them over. You also see some other meat we're gonna trim off the membrane. If you're doing competition style St. Louis ribs, you gotta square them off and you gotta make sure they're cut a certain way. I'm not entering a competition, but I am gonna trim a little bit so we can just grab our knife and start trimming off some of this fat. Just be careful because you don't wanna get the meat off, but you can at least just pull off a little bit. I mean, that's no good. It's not gonna render down. It doesn't gotta be perfect. What do I always say? Get your grip and then trim little by little. Ugh, big fella right there. Flip it over. And again, here's where you can see we want to trim that large piece off right there. And you don't need to throw this away. I'm going to put that to the side and keep it. It's good meat. And then you have this large flap hanging off as well. And that's what I was talking about earlier about squaring off your ribs. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I am going to cut this piece off right here, just to give a little bit of a better shape to the ribs. And then I have this end, I'm going to cut that off as well. So that's looking better as far as squaring off the ribs a little bit. Now you have the membrane. You're going to get a butter knife, a little bit easier. Try to get right underneath some of this membrane. And then get yourself a paper towel, get underneath, and just start pulling it all back. Rip that membrane, woo, right off. Some people skip this step, and hey, if you want to leave the membrane on, go on ahead, but I'm just going to get as much of it off as possible. And that looks a lot better. You're still going to have some fat on the outside. Trim a little bit more of this up. And that's good for this slab. It doesn't have to be perfect. Again, even just one layer of fat will make a big difference. So we're going to put this one to the front, move these aside, and get going on our second rack. Just do the best you can, whatever looks good for you. Again, we're on this other side. Look at that. See, it's just this stuff you don't want. Some of that extra meat. And for this one, again, we're going to trim this end off. Square it up just a little. Then let's just get your butter knife again. Push it through. Oh, yeah, maybe that'll be a little bit easier. Rip your membrane off of this side of the ribs as well. All right, so now all the dirty work is done for your ribs. I'm putting all this meat to the side. Woo-wee. So now what you're going to want to do for your ribs is get your binder for your rub. And I'm going with a few squirts of duck fat spray. Do that on this side. And then I'm also adding to that some honey mustard. Duck fat spray and honey must. Rub it on in. Then get your choice of rub. For these ribs, I'm going with some pecan Toms rib rub for Meat So Horny. Get a good, sweet, smoky rub on your ribs. Don't be cheap on me now with the rub. All right, flip them over. We're gonna do the same thing on this side. All right, now depending on what grill you're using, you're ready to go pop them on the smoker. But me, just because of the grill that I am using, it's a little bit narrow and shorter, so I am gonna cut these racks right in half, about right there. And then I'm gonna hang them in the po-man. Beautiful, and don't forget to rub up the sides you just cut. Just a little. Awesome, your ribs are prepped. It's a chore, well worth it. We have beautiful, beautiful racks of St. Louis ribs here. Let's go pop them right on the smoker. All right, y'all, we're out here at the Po-Man Grill. We got it going at 275 degrees. I'm fueling this cook with some Jealous Devil, all natural hardwood lump charcoal, and using chunks of cherry wood for these ribs. The Po-Man Grill comes right with these sets of skewers, so I don't need to hook them or nothing. We can stick them right through the half racks and space them out evenly on the Po-Man to get a nice even cook. Like I said earlier, these are no wrap ribs. We're looking to cook them for a total of 3.5 to 4 hours. We're gonna come out here every hour to spray down these ribs with our spritz bottle, so stick around and we'll see you in an hour. All right, y'all, it's been an hour. Let's take a look at our ribs. Oh yeah, some great color on there. Now we got our spritz bottle. What I did with this is I mixed 50-50, a cup of water, a cup of apple cider vinegar, 3 tablespoons of honey powder, and just a good squeeze of honey. I want a good sweet honey flavor to spritz these ribs. So let's take them out. And you're just gonna give a good spritz. Get them all nice and covered. We're gonna do the same thing with the other rack. All right, put those back in your smoker. Just gonna cover them back up and we'll come back out in another hour to keep spritzing. All right, it's been 2 hours. Let's take a look at our ribs. Woo, doggy. Let's give them another spritz. Put the lid back on, trust the temp of your smoker, trust the process. We have another hour before we come back. Spritz them one more time and sauce them on up. Stick around. It's time for our third spritz and sauce. We're in the home stretch now, baby. Let's take a look at our ribs. Jesus Christ. So get your racks, spray them one more time, then lay them on down on some foil. Get your other racks, do the same. Nice and easy now. All right, and then we have some Bash Brothers honey barbecue sauce. We're sticking with that honey and that honey powder in the spritz. Honey barbecue St. Louis ribs, baby. Pour some in a bowl, make it a little easier. Brush your sauce on your ribs. Carefully flip them over. Get the other sides. Perfect. Now you're just gonna want to get your ribs, put them right back on the racks. And that's it. We're gonna let these ribs keep going. Replenish your wood if you need to. We only got about another half hour that we're gonna leave these ribs on. Let that sauce caramelize a little bit, then we'll pull them and eat. And with that, our St. Louis honey barbecue ribs are complete. To kind of recap what we did, we trimmed off some of that fat and got some of that membrane off. Hit it with a binder, that duck fat spray, some honey must. Hit it with a good rub from Meat So Horny, that pecan rub. The total cook time was about 3.5 hours, and every hour we spritzed it with that honey mixture, that honey powder, that honey apple cider vinegar. Let it caramelize for that last half hour with that Bash Brothers honey barbecue sauce. Kept it at 275 that whole time with cherry wood. Man, these look bomb. Some great color on these ribs. They look awesome. I can't wait to cut into them. So what are we waiting for? Let's get to it. Move those to the side. We're just gonna cut in to one of our ribs. Oh baby, right down, smooth as butter. Oh yeah, we have some great color on these ribs. They look juicy and delicious. Now I just gotta dive right in. That is exactly what I want in a good rib. Man, 3, 2, 1. You're gonna get some tender ribs from the 3, 2, 1 method, but let me tell you, when you go 275 with no wrap, some people like them fall off the bone. I like them with a little bit of pull, and these are perfect with a little bit of pull. They are on point. Suck that meat off the bone. This is not disappoint. Do yourself a favor. Get yourself some St. Louis, or hey, you can do baby backs too with this method. Cook them straight through with no wrap. Hit them with some good rub. Hit them with your favorite barbecue sauce. Some honey barbecue, St. Louis ribs. Throw them on your smoker. You're going to love them. Stay tuned for the next video.